So we are just continuing with the session we just left behind with. Now we were discussing on the fourth point of why pharmaceutical education is important. That is Dr. Manoj for this, so that we can continue with the discussion. He just got disconnected because of some network issues from his end. Yes. So, sir, am I audible to you now?
Yeah.
So, sir, we were discussing on the fourth point we literally just left behind in the last session. That is research related to the pharmaceutical sector, right? So, if you see in the last 20 years, we hardly have had any researches on anti-infectants. And most of the researches were done in west side of the world, Western countries, where they never had a risk of infection. And therefore, the most of the research was done in chronic segment, that is for cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and psychiatric infections or psychiatric problems. And very little research was done in the infectious diseases. So my question here to you would be, what are your views that there should be more research on infectious diseases, or it should be continued the way it has been done?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Completely audible.
Okay. Okay. Your question is, you can call very appropriate one for the time scenario. If I will tell, this is the very hot questions now in this current pandemic scenario. I don't want to blame anyone, but I will tell, if you will see the defense budget of India, yes, it is defense is for most important and it should be the topmost priority. The defense budget is approximately 4,04,063 crores. That is approximately 57 billion US dollar rupees is there. I salute the government of India. That is the, you can call, very huge budget is there, and it is approximately 15.5% of total GDP of India. Yes, defense is very, very important. But what about those enemy which are invisible? If we take the example of corona pandemic situation is there, where the enemy is not visible and it is going to kill us. It is going to affect us severely. What is our preparation for the same? Defense is okay. Indo-China tension is going on. I do agree, and it's very okay. You have, you can call 15.5% GDP have allotted. That's good. But whatever the research, we don't need the, you can call budget for the same. Very sorry to say.
What you are trying to portray here is that the health infrastructure budget should be brought at par with the defense budget of the country.
Yes. In the 2021, we have only 67,112 crores rupees allocation is there, which is approximately 3.9% of GDP, whereas the defense budget is 15%. And again, I will tell, for the research budget will be 0.85% GDP, 85,000 crores only. How in India you will going to for the research? If you are not going to flourish the R&D, if you are not going to flourish the research, how are you going to survive in the future? That is the part. That is the very irony part. Actually, that is not in the fault of any person will be there. If you are not going to support the research, if you are not going to support the research, how the things will be go? Being a pharmacist,
So this put forwards us to our next point of discussion, that is the investment in healthcare. In this, I would just brief in that in India, investment in healthcare is 1 or 1.5% of total GDP, and so is the case in many other countries. But even in countries like United States of America, where they spend on health infrastructure was over 5% of GDP, we have seen that in case of pandemic, that's the current scenario, the healthcare infrastructure was not enough. It has completely failed in the United States of America as well, because the number of deaths currently over there is at #1 position. So my question here is the same one, which you have, I suppose you have already answered up to 70% of that the health infrastructure and the defense budget should be brought at par. And what else should be done in the case of investment in healthcare?
Okay, as I already discussed, approximately the GDP allocation in the budget is 3.9%. Okay,
Right.
that should increase. That should increase because healthcare sector you are only allowing 67,000 crores rupees. What about this now in Corona COVID-19 is there pandemic situation? We don't require the COVID hospitals are required. We require the personal protective equipments. We require the healthcare professionals. We require the medications are there. So you can see it is a one type of global health emergency. It is
Right.
coming in the once in a century. It's okay. It is coming once in a century. Is there in the earlier it was 1920. Now it's in the 2020 is there. But our health education, you can call the budget allocation should be H for defense budget. That is also you can call one type of stakeholders for one country. In the
Right.
approximately, I was checking there will be approximately 2.45 million of people in the worldwide has affected. Okay, and approximately 1,74,000 people have deceased. That means death is there due to corona pandemic. Now the world is thinking we should put the maximum budget for the health services. That is the topmost priority of any country.
Right. So now speaking about our last point for discussion today, that is the most debatable topic today, the road to the vaccine for COVID-19 and the repurposing of drugs. So Dr. Manoj, I would like you to tell us here that what is repurposing of drugs? We'd like you to explain us something on that.
Okay. Repurposing of the drugs will be there. Sometimes whenever the drugs are coming in the market after the 12 years of hard research, it requires approximately 12 years. And out of 5,000 molecule, one single molecule get approved by the FDA or any regulatory authorities will be there. One single molecule requires approximately 250 crores. I repeat, 250 crores of rupees is required for a single drug to get in the market. Okay,
Right.
once the drug is available in the market, it has some purpose. For example, you can call chloroquine. Nowadays, the chloroquine term is there. Everybody well known with chloroquine. That is actually anti-malarial drug.
Mhm.
Hydroxychloroquine. Anti-malarial drug is there. But we are using in some other purposes for the mitigations of corona. Treatment is not possible. Only mitigation is there. We are going to minimize the effects will be there. Azithromycin is just for broad spectrum antibiotics is there. That the purpose is something different. But we are using. Repurposing means utilizing the drugs
I'll
in a
just explain it to my audience in a simpler way. In what Dr. Manoj is trying to say here is that repurposing of drugs means that if some old medicine is used for a new disease which has come in.
old
मतलब कि
wine in
कोई
new bottle we can say. You can say old wine in new bottle for a new purpose will be there. For a new types of you can call use will be there. Okay, that will
मतलब
be
कि
the repurposing.
इसमें सर ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि बीमारी कोई नई आई है पर दवाई पुरानी यूज करी जा रही है क्योंकि उसके लिए अभी तक कोई वैक्सीन या कोई क्योर नहीं है तो इसका कुछ एग्जांपल्स हैं repurposing of drugs के I will just list some examples and those examples of repurposing of drugs in particularly in coronavirus includes remdesivir. It has been used in placebo effect and the recovery time has reduced from 15 days to 11 days because of this. And another example of repurposing of drugs is hydrochloroquine, which has been used for prevention from COVID-19. And the latest example is of dexamethasone, which is a steroid, which has been used in life-saving conditions for particularly for the people who are on ventilators.
Yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
So, sir, what it is no wonder that that the cure for this will not come overnight, and the development phase will take time. Right?
Definitely, I
So,
do agree. I do agree with you because taking of the drug is not a miracle. Not a miracle. It requires very hardcore work for approximately 12 years. I just hope our scientists are very able enough. They will able to get the actual treatment of COVID-19 in 3 to 4 months. They are predicting. May God bless all and get the drugs in a very shortest period of time to save the whole world. Today is the International
right,
Yoga Day. I will suggest that yoga is another holistic medium to get yourself fit and fine. It is a noble approach for keeping your body in a you can call good conditions will be there. So in a International Yoga Day, my advice for all of you, to do some simplest yoga. Pranayam is there, or you can call it Matsyayan is there. It is the very simplest yoga asanas or postures you can do to boost up your immunity. Immunity booster is nowadays very, very essential to fight against this pandemic situations.
Okay, okay. So concluding our today's session, I would like to put forward a magnificent example of a movie based on real life, which is named as Dying to Survive. It is a real life story of a Chinese leukemia patient named Lu Yang, who was prescribed a treatment which costed around 3,000 US dollars a month in China. And this treatment could go on for a year or two or maybe more. Thus, Lu Yang not being able to afford the treatment in China, he came to India, sourced the medicine, which was almost $30 a month. He sourced the medicine in India. The medicine in India was almost $30 a month, and which was less than 1% of what would cost him to in China. So he takes the medicine, gets cured, and then he started to smuggle this drug from India to China to cure around 1,000 leukemia patients over there. And after that, he was also caught because of this smuggling activity of his, and he was produced to the court. But based on his life story, why he did this, and how he saved the life of 1,000 Chinese patients, he even got a pardon from the court. So this is an example of what a pharmaceutical industry can do, what changes can it bring. It can save lives of hundreds of thousands of people, and it can reduce mortality, and it can add productive years to our lives. Right? So with this, sir, would you like to add anything in addition to what I just said? So we are done with today's session. It was nice to see you all to join the session with us. And I personally thank Dr. Manoj to join in the session. Please stay tuned for the further sessions of the Ordination TV. Thank you and good evening.